Hello, crafters! We've got a fun new project to try today, a DIY wool weaving hanging decor. It's simple, relaxing, and a great way to add a cozy handmade touch to your space. Grab your yarn and let's get started. First, unroll your yarn into a long, straight line. Take a moment to gently pull and smooth it out, making sure there are no knots or twists. This step helps keep everything neat and prevents the yarn from tangling later on, which can save you a lot of time and frustration as you start weaving. Also, when measuring your yarn, make sure to keep it relaxed. If you pull it too tightly, it might seem like the correct length, but it will actually shrink back and end up shorter than needed. This can affect the accuracy of your measurements, so keep a light hand while measuring. Now, you'll need to measure about 3.5 meters of yarn. In the video, she starts by measuring 1.5 meters, then folds that section in half to double it to 3 meters. After that, she measures an additional 0.5 meters to reach the total of 3.5 meters. This method helps make measuring long lengths a bit easier and more manageable. Cut the yarn once you've measured 3.5 meters and keep the excess piece. Now, take out your wooden board canvas and take note of the rugged or notched edges. Those are the parts where you'll be doing your weaving. Make sure the board is positioned with those edges facing up and ready to use. Now, get your 3.5 meter yarn ready and head to the lower right part of your canvas. This is where we'll start setting up the warp threads for weaving. To start weaving, start by placing one end of the yarn at the back of the canvas and bringing it through the first notch. Tie a simple knot and tighten it. Repeat this 2 more times for a total of 3 tight knots to make sure it's secure. Once done, trim off any excess yarn. Now, take the longer end of the yarn and bring it across to the opposite side of the canvas. Make sure the yarn stays straight and gently pulled as you guide it into the matching notch on the other side. Next, insert the yarn into the second notch, then into the third notch, both on the opposite of the starting side. Make sure to always keep the yarn tight, as this will be the foundation of your craft. Now, as you bring the yarn back to the starting side, place it into the second notch, right next to where you started, just like in the video. Now for the second loop, bring the yarn again to the third notch and then to the fourth notch of the opposite side, then back again to the third notch of the starting side. Starting to see the pattern? Keep repeating this pattern, going across the canvas and placing the yarn into the next notch on each side until you reach the last notch. Make sure the yarn stays straight and evenly spaced as you go. As simple as this step might seem, it's where the magic starts to build. Each move adds a layer of personality and charm to your project. It's such a great feeling to know it's all coming from you. Use this time to inspect your craft. Check for any gaps, loose threads, or uneven spots. It's a great moment to smooth things out and make sure everything looks just the way you want it before moving on. Once you're done, you'll need to secure the end so the yarn doesn't come loose. Simply loop the end of the yarn around one of the nearby warp threads, then pull it tight to lock it in place. this is where the fun really begins. Grab your thick yarn and your crochet needle. These will be your main tools for weaving. This part is relaxing and super satisfying as you start to see your design take shape. Once you've threaded your thick yarn through the crochet needle, take the other end of the yarn and make a simple loop around the right side of the canvas. This will anchor the yarn in place and get you ready to start weaving. Now, when you start weaving, begin at the right side of the canvas. For the first thread, go over it. Then, for every 2 threads after that, alternate the pattern, go under the next 2 threads, then over the following 2, and so on. This creates a nice, even texture and gives your weaving a fun, patterned look. Once you've reached the last thread on the left side, gently pull the yarn through to even it out. Then, use your thread comb to push the yarn down to the bottom of the canvas. This helps keep your weave tight, neat, and in place as you continue. When going back from left to right, you'll reverse the pattern you did earlier. So this time, start by going under the first thread, then go over the next 2, under the following 2, and continue alternating just like that. This creates a strong and balanced weave. Also, take note that the threads might start to bunch up or clump together because of the thick yarn. Don't worry, just take your time to gently loosen and adjust the warp threads so they stay straight and evenly spaced. Once you've completed that row, use your thread comb again to gently push the yarn down. This keeps your rows tight and even and helps your design look neat as it builds up. Now that you know the pattern, just keep repeating it. Weave, loop, loosen if needed, and comb it down. It's a simple rhythm. Over, under, adjust, and repeat. Take your time and enjoy the process. Your design will start to come together beautifully. As you continue weaving, the yarn will start to stack up on the canvas. Make sure that each loop, even though it gets compressed, stays clearly distinguishable from the others. As shown in the video, we've only done 4 loops so far, so you should be able to see 4 distinct layers on your canvas. Keep an eye on the spacing to maintain that neat, layered look. If you're done with your inspection and everything looks good, nice spacing, clean rows, then let's keep going. Continue the threading, follow the same pattern, and keep that rhythm. Weave, loop, adjust, and comb. You're doing great! Take a moment to inspect both sides of your weaving. Make sure the edges are straight and the yarn is evenly aligned on both sides. If you notice any uneven rows or slanted edges, gently adjust the yarn with your fingers or the comb to keep everything neat and balanced. Clean edges make a big difference in the final look. Now, once you've reached 20 loops, pause for a moment. Take a little time to count them carefully so you can be sure you've got the right number before moving on to the next step. Keeping track helps your project stay neat and consistent. Once you've reached 20 loops, do one final loop by going over the first thread on the right side, and then loop the yarn into the thread line. It should loop into 4 yarn loops. Take your time with this step and follow the video carefully. Then pull the yarn carefully. Then do the same thing on the next column. Insert the needle and let the yarn follow. Do this looping pattern for 4 more times to secure the end of your weave. This helps lock everything in place so it doesn't come loose. Once you've finished the 4 loops, go ahead and cut off the excess yarn. For the simple loop you did at the beginning, do the same looping pattern again, about 4 times, to lock it in place. This way, both ends of your weave are secured and won't come undone. Now that you've finished setting up the canvas for your design, take a moment to appreciate what you've created. You've done all the prep work, and your base is ready for the fun part, bringing your design to life. Great job so far! Now, take the pattern for the cactus design and place it right in the center of your canvas. Make sure it's straight and aligned with your warp threads. To follow the pattern easily, mark the pattern with a pen. Next, take out the green wool and gently smooth it out with your hands. Shape it into a soft, even rectangle. Now, take the green wool you shaped and align it with the cactus pattern on the canvas. Position it so that the middle part of the wool lines up with the end of the cactus shape, right above the pot. Then, using your needle, start picking through the middle part of the green wool, following the shape of the cactus on the pattern. Gently but quickly, press the needle down through the wool and into the canvas. This motion helps tangle and lock the wool into the warp threads you set up earlier. It's a simple but effective way to attach the wool securely while shaping the design. Now, carefully trim off any excess green wool that goes beyond the edges of the cactus pattern. This will help clean up the shape and make it look more like a cactus. Take your time and cut slowly to keep the edges smooth and well-defined. Now, continue using the picking needle to work through the rest of the cactus pattern. Next, grab the light green wool and gently smooth it out into a triangular shape. Make one of the points slightly longer. This will help give the cactus a more natural look, like a little branch or sprout growing out from the main body. Take your time shaping it before placing it on the canvas. Now, take the light green wool and align it with the center of the cactus, placing it where you want the small branch or sprout to be. Once it's in position, use your needle to gently pick and press the wool down. Now, twist the top part of the light green wool to form a pointy tip. It'll give your cactus that classic, natural look. Once it's shaped, prick that area with your needle to secure it in place. Finally, trim off any excess wool to keep the edges clean and sharp. Next, use your needle to carefully prick along the edges where the light green and green wool meet. This will help blend them slightly, while still keeping a clear contour between the two colors. It adds depth and definition to your cactus, making the shape stand out more. Next, take out the yellow wool and pull off a small amount. Set it aside. We'll be using it later for the final details of the design. Next, take the yellow wool and align it carefully within the pod area of the cactus pattern. Make sure it fits the shape and edges as neatly as possible. Once it's properly in place, begin pricking the wool with your needle, pressing it gently into the canvas to secure it and follow the shape of the pot. Next, Grab the excess yellow wool you saved earlier and place it on the upper part of the pot area. This extra layer adds depth and a bit of dimension to the design, making the pot look more textured and visually interesting. Once it's in place, prick it gently to secure it. To keep the wool in place more securely, gently fold the ends of the wool inward before you start pricking. This helps tuck in any loose fibers and gives the edges a cleaner look. Now, take a bit more yellow wool and place it at the top of the cactus. This will be the flower. Gently shape it into a small, round, or slightly spiky form, depending on the look you want. Once it's in place, use your needle to prick it down, securing it neatly so it stands out as the finishing touch of your cactus design. Shape the yellow wool into 3 small balls to form a cute little flower on top of the cactus. Arrange them closely together in a triangle or cluster shape so they look like a blooming flower. Now, take a small piece of red wool and shape it into a tiny circle. This will be the center of your flower. Once it's shaped, place it right in the middle of the yellow wool flower and gently prick it down. This adds a nice pop of color and finishes off the flower detail beautifully. Next, roll a bit of the white wool between your fingers to make a thin strand. Then, cut it into small pieces. These will act as the cactus spikes. Gently place them around the green part of the cactus, spacing them out evenly, and prick them down one by one to secure them. These little details will really bring your cactus to life. Once you've finished adding all the spikes, congratulations! You're done with your cactus. Take a moment to step back, breathe, and admire what you've created. You've just turned yarn and wool into a beautiful piece of art. Great job, crafter! Only a few more steps to go. Next, it's time to remove your craft from the wooden easel. Carefully follow the steps shown in the video. Start by gently loosening the yarn from the notches on one side. Get to the end of the thread and loop it into itself. This will lock your thread and also make it an attachment for later accessories. The length of the hole should be around 3 centimeters. Now, do the same thing with the next loose thread end. Loop it into itself by tucking it under the nearest yarn strand, then pull it tight to secure it in place. Repeat this process for all the thread ends. Loop each one into itself or under a nearby yarn strand, then pull it tight to secure. This will keep your entire weave stable and give the back of your project a clean, finished look. Repeat this process for all the thread ends. Loop each one into itself, then pull it tight to secure. This will keep your entire weave stable and give the back of your project a clean, finished look. Now, for the bottom part, take each pair of adjacent threads and tie them together in a double knot. This will help strengthen the weave and keep everything securely in place. Work your way across the row, knotting each pair tightly but gently so the fabric stays even. You might be confused because it changed design, but don't worry, the process is still the same, so you can still follow this. Keep repeating this double knotting process along the entire bottom side. Tie each adjacent pair of threads together twice to secure them, then move on to the next pair. Once you've finished tying all the knots securely, go ahead and trim off the excess thread below each knot. Cut carefully, leaving a little space below the knots to prevent them from loosening. This gives your project a clean, polished edge. Next, take back the thick yarn and your needle. We're now going to start adding the accessories. Start by creating a tiny knot at one end of the thick yarn. Just tie a small, firm ball-like knot. This will act as a stopper. Then, take your pearl accessory and gently insert it through the yarn. Now, using your needle, insert the thick yarn through 4 of the side threads on the edge of the canvas. This will attach the accessory securely to the weave. Remember the loop we did earlier that looked like a snake? We're going to do the same thing here to lock the pearl yarn in place. Just make a small loop with the thick yarn, thread it under and around one of the nearby strands, then pull it through and tighten. This will secure the yarn and keep the pearl from sliding or coming loose. Now, repeat the same steps for the middle and the other end of the canvas. Knot the yarn, add the pearl, thread it through 4 side strands, and secure it with a loop. Keep going with the same pattern. You're almost done. Just a few more and your beautiful wall decor will be ready to hang. Now look at that! Your weaving is all done. Step back and admire your work. You've created a beautiful piece from start to finish. Well, almost finish. Need to add one last final touch. Lastly, take the wooden tube and carefully slide it through the loops at the top of your canvas. This will hold your weaving in place and make it ready for hanging. Now, grab a small piece of thread. Choose the length depending on how low or high you want your wall decor to hang. Tie each end of the thread securely to both sides of the wooden tube. Now do a final inspection. Check for any uneven spaces, loose threads, or areas that need a quick fix. Make sure everything looks neat and secure before hanging it up. And that's a wrap, crafters! You've just made your very own DIY wool weaving hanging decor. Beautiful, handmade, and totally one of a kind. We hope you had fun and feel proud of what you've created. Don't forget to share your masterpiece, and we'll see you in the next craft session. Happy crafting, Sparkle!